Hello, good evening everyone. Wanted to get this video made before it got too late. I've had a very full day and so now I'm just getting to this. So welcome and continuing our conversations about the things that make you sick and what to do to avoid them, or things to, hello, how do you? Things that you can do, or what to look for to recognize the things that are actually making you sick to avoid them. All right, so today the wonderful chemical that I'm going to talk about, it's so horrendous that I'm going to spend the whole time on this, on this one chemical, whereas before my other video then I shared 3 of them with you. Okay, so when we look at the things that made people ill like over 100 years ago, it really boiled down to sanitary conditions. The sewage, the water, indoor water and plumbing things. So once the infrastructure of that got done, then a lot of the sicknesses, the infections, the things, the flus and everything just naturally cleared up on their own. So it's like, you know, you just clean up the environment and the bugs and the pathogens just take care of themselves and go away. However, what we've got now is a very different situation, in that we are actually poisoning ourselves from every direction. So I don't know if you knew this, but there was an act, it's called the Toxic Substance Control Act. It was done in 1976, so it's been quite a while now, and that grandfathered in an estimated 65 to 100,000 chemicals in that act. So what does that mean? It means that of the tens of thousands of 250,000 or whatever chemicals that are out there in our environment that are used in every area of life, that they don't have to be put on a label of anything, whether it's in your food, your shampoo, your laundry detergent, soap of any kind of soap, cosmetics, stuff for your babies. The chemicals don't have to be labeled as such, that they're even in there, let alone what they do, which is like shocking when you start to think about this. So of those 65,000 to 100,000 chemicals that were grandfathered into this act, then that means that they can be in products and the manufacturers don't ever have to say that they're there, nor do they have to say what they do. Another thing that I find really interesting is that in order for something to be labeled as toxic, then the requirement is that if only 50% of the animals die from being tested on that chemical. So that alone, it should make you like tweak your brain. It's like, why would people even think about that? Of let's see how much we can poison this rat or this animal until it dies. I mean, it's like craziness. But anyway, that's their parameter that they go on as to whether or not something's toxic. So even though it may be toxic, if, say, only 40% of the animals die or something less different than the 50% in that test, then they don't need to label it. Kind of tripping over my words here. Okay, so that being said, with all of the chemicals in our environment, and the majority of them are not even known, and they certainly haven't even been tested, then it makes you wonder, it's like, what are those chemicals actually doing? How are they poisoning us? When you look at the rampant health problems, the diseases, the cancers, everything that's going on, and then you start unraveling the threads, then inevitably it always comes back to all the chemical poisons that we're putting into our environment and into our bodies, into our foods, everywhere we go. All right, so that being said, the chemical that I'm going to share with you tonight, so that you can look for it or understand what it does and know where to find it or where it's typically found, then you can look for other alternatives of those products so that you don't have this chemical in it, because this one is quite pervasive and it's quite a nasty one. And that is triclosan. It is an antibacterial agent used to prevent bacteria growing in various products so that it will extend the shelf life. So for example, in your soaps, your shampoos, so that they can sit on the warehouse shelves or the shelves in your store for months and months and months before you finally buy them. And in that time, then this triclosan will prevent bacteria growing. It is also a registered pesticide, meaning it can be sprayed on farm fields and crops to get rid of or contribute to getting rid of pests. It's typically absorbed through the skin from the products that it's in, which are soaps, detergents, cosmetics, shaving gel, first aid spray, ointments, kitchenware, children's toys, etc. So when you look at that, that's quite a list of things, and it's very broad, but I'm going to go into it a little bit more in detail here in a minute. So what this does when it's in your body, especially the more it's in your body, then the more, the higher the concentration, then you're going to experience the detrimental effects of this thing. And this is a known endocrine disruptor. And as you know about the endocrine system, any time that you've got something that's going to either mimic or disrupt your hormones, then that's a disease, that's a recipe for disaster. In this case, one of the things that the triclosan targets is your thyroid. So consider all of the people with hypothyroid, thyroid cancer, goiters, problems with your metabolism, no energy, problems losing weight, anything that has to do with your thyroid, then you would want to look to see how much triclosan you've been exposing yourself to, and to what extent is this chemical a contributing factor to all those thyroid problems. Okay. Another thing that it does is that it contributes to birth defects and uncontrollable cell growth. So let's talk a little bit more about this wonderful, not so wonderful chemical of triclosan. Triclosan is something that has contributed to the large upsurge in hard-to-kill bacteria, or the superbugs. So when people when they take a lot of antibiotics, then you've probably seen or heard or read things about this, that the typical antibiotics that they used to work, or that people used to take, don't work anymore, because there's more and more bacteria in the body, or especially in the gut, that's resistant to whatever that is. And this chemical, triclosan, contributes to that. And anytime that, again, you start messing with your bacteria that's in your gut, on the surface of your skin, the bacteria that's healthy, that lives on your body, that you need to have, when you start messing with that and disrupting that, then it creates all kinds of havoc, not only with your endocrine system, but also you're going into your immune system. So it's really not something to be messing with, and yet it's everywhere. So this contributes to, or strains of bacteria, that are resistant to triclosan are E. coli, Salmonella, Staphylococcus, and a tuberculosis strain of bacteria. And so when you think about this, and you look at, wow, all of these people, or you hear about people who have these type of infections or problems with these types of bacteria, and then you look, it's like, well, how much is this contributed to triclosan? So it's not good. Another thing that happens with this chemical is that it's very detrimental for the environment. It's found in a lot of waterways, in drains and rivers and lakes. And so therefore, the next step of the contamination and the problems is that it gets into all kinds of critters and bugs and animals that live in the water. The fishes, frogs, earthworms have been, it's been found in anything from earthworms up to dolphins. And it's also been shown that when frogs, in the normal development of frogs, that from tadpole to frog, if the triclosan is present, the hormonal disruptor of that will impair the development of the frog. So let's connect some dots here. If you've got that going on in a frog, in a very small sized body of an animal, from whatever's in the environment, from in the lakes of wherever it's living, when you take that into what you're doing on a day-to-day basis and how often you're using products with triclosan in it, what's that doing to you, to your kids? And then look at what your health history is. Are you having problems with your endocrine, your immune system? Then take a look at this, because this could be something that you need to eliminate from your house, from your life. Okay? Let me see what else I want to share with you. Okay, so places that you can find triclosan: hand soaps, cleaning supplies, dish detergents, toothpaste, kitchen utensils, garbage bags, toys, computer keyboards, clothing, cutting boards, mattresses, and bedding. So why would it be in bedding and mattresses? So when you look at or consider about all of the chemicals that they coat that fabric with, then one of them would be triclosan for the antibacterial properties. The worst, though, is the hand sanitizers, the alcohol-based hand sanitizers. So not only does the alcohol dry out your hands, but the triclosan that's in them that you're always wiping your hands with to get rid of pathogenic bacteria, then you're really causing yourself a lot of problems by using them. So this is where you would want to look for other ways of, or other products that are antibacterial for yourself, and skin and hand sanitizers. There are many out there that don't have triclosan in it. You just have to educate yourself on what's what. Okay, so here's some of the things I'm offering for you in these videos is what to look for and what to avoid. What is it? Okay, a couple more things to share with you about triclosan. Not only is it an endocrine disruptor, but it is a known carcinogen. It's known to cause cancer. And so why would you put this on your body or into your body once you know what it does? Kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. Why would you intentionally poison yourself and give yourself things that's known to cause cancer? Let's see, what else can I share with you about this? This is just one of the really bad ones. It's also one of those things that once it's in the body, then it gets stored within the fat tissue, fat cells. And once it's in there, it's almost impossible to get rid of out of your fat tissue. So it's very difficult to eliminate. And so that's when you have to really look at, what else am I doing with how else am I taking care of myself? What's my lifestyle? What am I eating? What kind of foods do I have? Is there a lot of processed fake foods, I call them, that you're eating that's going to add more chaos to your body? Or are you eating foods that are actually nutritious, that will actually help support your body in eliminating and taking out the toxic chemicals and compounds like triclosan? Okay, so it's not just the hand sanitizers or one or two products like the soaps, the detergents. When you start looking at this, it's a lifestyle. It's learning how to live again in a way that's more health enhancing rather than continuing to poison yourself and then wonder why you get sick and not connect the dots of poison equals health problems equals cancer and hormone disruptors and endocrine disruptors and on and on. Okay? All right, so last couple things I wanted to share with you. Things that you can do to avoid the triclosan or start getting it out of your life. So look for it on the label. See if it's on the label. Look for it, and avoid personal care products that are labeled antibacterial or antimicrobial. I can't even talk. Microbial. So that's going to be an indication that triclosan is most likely in that product. And again, remember, this is one of those things that's probably grandfathered in under the 1976 law that says that manufacturers do not have to put triclosan on the label. Okay, so just look for antibacterial or antimicrobial ingredients or things on the ingredient label and avoid them. Soaps, gels, cleanser, toothpaste. Okay, would be where those are found. Also, when you've got things like yoga mats, towels, cutting boards, shoes, garbage bags, things that you would want to clean or to sanitize, then look for products that will do the job of cleaning as an antibacterial agent that's more natural and non-toxic. And I can share with you some ideas of things that you can look for, ingredients that, compounds and things that would be that, instead of using an antibacterial that is triclosan and so toxic for you. There are some alcohol-based hand sanitizers that are a little bit more green and healthy. And so again, do some research, look for what the ingredients of them are. Look them up on Google if you don't know what they are to find out what they'll do. So you can use, there's a lot of other hand sanitizers that you can use instead of things that say antimicrobial and antibacterial on the label that actually have triclosan in it. All right, so that's that compound. In my next videos, and I'll share it with you some of the other chemicals to look for, but I just wanted to start laying out some videos like this to help you identify what's out there that's actually poisoning you. Great topic, I know. And then with that, then also be looking for things that I'll be sharing with you as a replacement, as they're non-toxic, right? So, and feel free to share with others this video if you found it useful. And I'd love to know what you liked about this, okay? Is it something that benefits you? Do you enjoy this, hearing about these chemicals and topics? What ones do you want me to, what topics would you want me to talk more about? And yeah, share it. All right. So thanks for joining me on this. Be looking for more videos on recognizing things that are killing us and ways to avoid it. All right. Take care and have a good evening.